Hey YouTube, I'm taking a wee break from working on my Tony Iommi SG just now. Not quite as simple as I was hoping it was going to be, so I've now got Badass Bridge on. Problems are arising with the neck angle, which is obviously different from what it is on a Gibson SG because this is a vintage. So I'm having to recess the bridge down a bit, which means I can't use the plastic washers that I bought. Also, the proper John Birch pickup rings. This one, the one with the wee legs on the bottom, ain't gonna fit because it's got to go in below the bridge. On a Gibson SG, I think this pickup is much more in that direction, so I think what I'm going to have to do is make another neck ring and make it to fit in there. Yeah, so anyway, that's why this video is not about the Tony Iommi SG, which has just turned out to be a little bit of a pig. So instead, this is the guitar I was using, that's only been a minute, for last week's live stream. It's not really ideal for demonstrating guitars on a live stream because the sound quality is not as good. I don't know, it just isn't. So this is a 1983 Washburn A5. So stage series, pretty much at the start, Washburn only had the wings, which I don't have any on the wall just now, and the stage series was this just sort of like an Explorer. I've got an 8-string bass version of this, of an A20. It's a B28. So the A5 is the cheapest one. It's a bolt-on neck. It's also a maple neck. It's a 3-piece. That you can see it there. Very Toblerone deep V neck. Asymmetrical as well because you can see it's got like a quarter sawn centre bit to the 3-piece neck. And you can see that it's not in the middle, the V point, so it's asymmetric. I seem to be glowing like Superman for some reason. I wonder why it just got really light, I cannot say. Yep, so hockey headstock, which I like, matches this bit, I always think. This is designed by the same guy who designed the wings, by the way. So it's sort of an Explorer. It's got power sustained bridge, which is through strung like a Telecaster. It comes up, it goes over brass saddles, and then there's Allen bolts that clamp in here and in here to clamp it all together, make it pure solid. The pickups are Washburn power sustains, which are either Maxon or Gotoh, basically exactly the same as Ibanez Super 70s. And it's got a Telecaster type control panel, which I had seen before because I've got my, I said the first Washburn, the first vintage Japanese guitar I had and kept was my Washburn 8-string bass. And I was obviously looking at the guitar versions, and that's where I saw, oh, you can put a Telecaster plate on non-Telecasters, because that's what's on these. Normally, this is a very early A5, which has got humbuckers in it. Most of the ones you see, I've not seen very many, I'll be honest. I have 2 single coils. So you get the A5, which is 2 single coils, a Telecaster plate, an A15, which is now a set neck, and it's got a scratch plate and like a Strat layout, like 3 single coils and a blade switch. And then the A10 is pretty much like this, apart from it's more like a Les Paul arrangement. It's also set neck. And then the A20 is a fancy one. It's through neck. It's got there's binding on the 10 as well. I'm not sure about the 15. The 10 definitely has binding on it. This is unbound, just a block. And then you get the B20, which is basically the base version of the 20. The 20 being the through neck one. It's sometimes also got the wee brass rings as fingerboard things in ebony and stuff. You know, a really high spec guitar. So this is a really basic one, but I really like it. It's really good. It's everything just works on it. Like what happens with a lot of these sort of the cheaper range, I suppose I'd kind of probably class that area being in that as well. The sort of cheaper range of the early 80s Japanese guitars are cheaper because they don't really have any fancy bits on them. You know, it doesn't have binding and fancy tops and stuff. It's just solid, but the build quality is the same. So it's kind of like the original, you know, the Les Paul Juniors and stuff, which are now worth lots of money. At the time, they were just a sort of student version of a Les Paul, but they didn't have the fancy cap on it. Only came with 1 pickup. All these things, but they kept the build quality up. That's basically where this is sitting. I did mod it a little bit. It's now got push pulls, which split both these into single coils, because that's what an A5. Most of the A5s I've seen have had single coils. I've had ones that have been altered to take humbuckers. This one hasn't been, because if you take out pickups you can see the paint. If they'd been altered, the paint wouldn't go through the pickup cavities. So, enough messed about. I suppose I'll get some single coily sounds. This is both the single coils on. Played through my Laney VC15. The neck is a smasher. If you've never played a deep V neck before, it seems that's quite a big distance. That's fat. But see, when you get to the edges, it's really, really thin because it's so V-shaped. So when you're playing the high two strings, it's really like there's no fingerboard there. It's really nice. I don't know why you don't get more V-necks. Neck pickup, single coil. Single coil in the bridge. Not a bad Telecaster impression. So I mean, I'm just thinking, looking at it, it's kind of, if you've got it in quarter split, but it kind of is a Telecaster, because you've got the bolt-on neck, you've got the through-string bridge, two single coils. Doesn't look like a Tele. Definitely something to it though. US Dream pedal. Humbucker. Drop it in the third before it. I suppose with having both the pops as push pulls, I can now get it's like a bridge single coil and neck humbucker at the same time. the other way round. Yeah, so basically that's really what I wanted to say in the live stream, but I never got down to it. Totally recommend these guitars. I really don't know what the going rate is for them now, but it won't be as much as what they're worth. I got this off my pal James, who sold it to me for too little, and I still feel dead guilty about it. To be fair, I don't think he'd ever played it when I got it. It was really, really dirty. So I don't think it ever really been played. But so what should be, at the time, a budget guitar, now it's not a budget guitar. It's only budget because it doesn't have any fanciness on it. Now it's got the coil splits on it. You're kind of there. That's another difference, I think, between the A10 and the A20 I was talking about earlier on. So the A10 is binding, set neck, and doesn't have coil splits, whereas the A20's through neck. It's often got like a fancy veneer, maple cap on it, ebony fingerboard, fancier fret markings, and push-pull coil splits. Also, I was playing this earlier on when I was sitting talking. See upside down. It fits really well. It's one of those things where I don't know what is it looks like when it's upside down, but it really fits. For playing sitting down, it just sits in a really nice place, apart from the strings are on the back of the neck, obviously. But, and I bet you it balances really well as well, because you could get like a... maybe not. You know what I mean? You put your strap button on here. So I'm kind of tempted, to be honest, to maybe build an upside down one. Just to see, because it just seems to fit full well. Yeah. So who knows? I mean, the way it is, I see if you look there, there's a belly carve on it. It's a sort of weird one because it's not really where the guitar sits. It doesn't. Well, maybe it sort of does. It kind of the belly carve should really be here. That's where your belly is. Whereas this, it's kind of, maybe it's just designed for the stage. There's also, if you look up videos, there's a video of UFO playing. The entire band are playing these. I don't think any of them are playing the 5. You can always tell the 5 because it's got a maple fingerboard. Although I think there are rosewood versions of it, but there's not maple versions of anything else. That's kind of along the same lines of the one of the Wing series I don't have, which I've never actually seen one for sale. There's one called a T-Bird Deluxe, which is basically the sort of cheaper one. Basically, this equivalent comes with a maple neck, so I don't have a maple neck wing. So that's really the only one I don't have. And in this range, I have the red A5, I've got a blue A10, a white A10, and I've got the B20 bass. But I've just done a deal with my pal down south. I think I'm getting a 20, an A20. It's black with gold binding on it. My pal Wayne bought 2 of them. Well, he bought one, and I was like, fair, because I've been looking for an A20 for 5 years, or maybe more than that, maybe nearly 10 years, and so is he. And then he got one. I thought, right, well, he got one. That's fine. That means that the next one that comes along, you know, I won't be fighting him. I won't be bidding against him. And then he got another one like 2 months later. It's even the same colour. So eventually I just went, look, when are you giving me that other guitar? So we've got a deal going. So expect at the end of the summer to be another Wing series video, which will be a bit more complete. That really just leaves the 15, which I don't have. I mean, technically I don't have the A5 that's got the single coils either. But at this point, I don't think this is Yamaki made, although I have been told that because it's got the asymmetrical neck, it definitely is Yamaki. 1983 was when Yamaki shut down, so it could be one of the very last ones they churned out, or it was one that was maybe partly finished and then finished by somebody else. I don't actually know who made the guitars in 1983. Later on ones are Chushin, that's known. Earlier ones are Yamaki. This one, not really sure. What I will say is, it's made in the same factory as my Washburn Force 8 bass, which is also 1983. it's too similar. Okay, it's not the same shape, but everything about the build is just like, I go through that many guitars, I could kind of guess factories and stuff like that just by playing it. I mean, that's why I think that's an Epiphone Sung Il factory, because it just feels exactly the same. It's what it feels like, even though it's a rally. So this is definitely the same. There's definite similarities between this and the Ibanez Blazer. This is a wee bit going out there a bit, but Ibanez Roadsters, you just think, oh, made by Fujigen. Apparently they weren't. At the start, they were made by a company called Dyna, because Ibanez weren't really sure how to make Fendery type things. Sounds ridiculous now, but back then, so the Blazer model was made by a company called Dyna. This is very similar to this. I think this might be, I mean, this is completely unsubstantiated. There is a mention somewhere about Dyna. If you look up the Dyna factory, they did do contract work for Yamaki. I think they might have made certain models of Washburn before Yamaki went under and Chushin took over. So like kind of towards 82, 83, I think Dyna were making small runs of maybe odd models like this one. So I still need to get a 15. Not wanting to pay a lot of money for it. The 15 is the only one that's got a scratch plate. Kind of doesn't look very good. I think again suffers from a little bit this. I think this is only available in black, red, and white. And the same with some of the other models. It's annoying that I've already got the French flag, so I need to basically, when I get the 20, I need to punt my white A10. It's got a Caller bridge on it, and I don't really like the Caller bridge, so I need to sell that. I should maybe be using that at this gig we're doing. I'm definitely going to use the Blazer for a bridge. I think my second guitar, I might use this one. I did take in this to the studio last night, night before last. This is Aria, which plays amazing. This is the Ibanez V2 pickup, which is worth more than I paid for the whole guitar with the pickup in it. It's a V7 kind of sort of your DiMarzio super distortions, and it just wasn't sounding fantastic. I'm not sure. One of the reasons might be we were in the very last room. We were in the 14th best room, as in there's 14 rooms in the rehearsal studio we go to, and I think that's kind of where all the amps go to die. Basically, it's like, oh, we've got a new Marshall stack, so that goes in room 1 or 2 or 3 or something like that, and then the one that was in room 2 or 3, the one that's 5 years old, gets shunted down to room 6 or 7 or 8. And then the one that was in room 6 or 7 or 8 gets shunted down, and then eventually ends up in room 14, where you've got every cabinet's got tears in the Tolex and stuff. I'm not really sure whether that's something to do. I should really have taken in 2 guitars, I would find out. That one really didn't do anything for me. It sounds fantastic in here. I was really disappointed. But who knows? It's like, could be a slightly wobbly speaker cabinet. Maybe I was playing badly. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't loud enough, maybe I was too loud. I don't know. So, I got gifted a bottle of Bucky for helping out my pal the other day, so I don't need to buy Bucky for tomorrow night's live stream, and I'm not going to drink it tonight. We're trying not to drink it tonight. Kinda in the mood for drinking tonight. I'm not going to drink it tonight, so I can stay moderately sober for tomorrow's live stream. The Tony Iommi guitar might be working. I'm decided that what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to string it up just now and see how far off the neck is, because the thing is the neck sits too flat, so I need to get the bridge lower, so the joys. It wasn't the easy conversion I thought it was going to be. My plan was, can't be easy. Just stick in the pickup rings, swap over the bridge. You need to re-drill the bridge holes. The bridge is now in a different place. The pickup rings don't fit. It keeps going, but do really like this guitar. Possibly, it might be my favourite of the. No, it can't. Well, obviously, it can't be my favourite of the stage series because of the 8-string bass. There's nothing better than 8-string bass. But of the guitars, this one might be my favourite one of it, just because it's really unpretentious. The maple neck is lovely. I really like the Telecaster control plate on Not a Telly. I don't. It's pure. I've never seen it on anything else apart from these guitars, and obviously I did the same on my double neck there. I was actually wondering why I drew around my Ibanez Destroyer with that and I didn't draw around one of these. So there might be possibility of This is me just thinking about it this morning. I was just sitting watching telly, and it's like, a double neck one of these would be pretty good, eh? And I would stagger the necks as well. So the two nuts are in line, so it actually hangs well. Maybe try and get my hands on a short scale base neck, maybe for it. So it can be a bit smaller than that one, but still have a base. Fun. See you on Sunday. Rock on. Like and subscribe. Hey, catch you later. Cheers.